Okay, good morning, children. So we're going to start
Morning.
with human reproduction. So when you take into account the human reproduction, the very important aspect that you all must know is what is reproduction? What do you mean by reproduction? What do you mean by reproduction?
Production of offspring of the same kind of species.
Production of the offspring of their own kind, we're going to call them as reproduction. So in case of human beings, there are some important events which occurs. Is the board clearly visible, children?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The first important event that we're going to take in case of human reproduction is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. What is gametogenesis?
Production of gametes.
The process of formation of gamete from a gamete mother cell. That means there are two types of gamete mother cell that we have to talk about. One is called as the gamete that is involved in the formation of the sperms, and we're going to call it as sperm mother cell or spermatogonium, singular. The egg mother cell is called as oogonium. So we have the spermatogonium and we have the oogonium, which is involved in the gamete formation, and the ploidy of the sperm mother cell or spermatogonium is diploid. The ploidy of oogonium or egg mother cell is also diploid. After gametogenesis, the gamete has to be transferred, and it is occurring in a natural way. We're going to call them as insemination. Insemination is a process where the gametes or the male gametes formed from the gamete mother cell is deposited into the female reproductive tract. We're going to call the process as insemination. In test tube baby program, we're going to call this process as artificial insemination. For this insemination, we require an important organ called the penis, which is the inseminating organ. We're going to call this as external, or you can say another way, external male genitalia. Okay, I'll introduce the term afterwards when I'm teaching you individually about the male reproductive structures. After insemination, it's a union of male and female gametes. We're going to call the process as fertilization. Some people even use that also. Fertilization, nothing but it's a fusion of male and female pronucleus of the sperm and the ovum. We're going to call as amphimixis or fertilization. After fertilization, they undergo some rapid mitotic division, results in the formation of zygote. Zygote transform into an embryo. After fertilization, the zygote has to be formed and the zygote will transform to an embryo. The embryo have to get implanted. It is called as implantation. Implantation is a process where the embryo will be, or in another way I can say implanted or fixing, or we can call the term as fixing, or the embryo will be fitted or it will be implanted into the endometrial lining of the uterus of the maternal body is called as implantation. After implantation, we have another important event which I have to justify now. The next important event is called as gestation. What is gestation? How many months you were there in the mother's own children if it is a natural way of part division? How many months?
9, sir.
That is 9 months is the gestation period, and 10th month the fetus is delivered outside the body. That means gestation is a period where after implantation various important event occurs, especially organogenesis and important event, which is actually a time period from implantation till the delivery of the fetus. The process of delivery is called as parturition. Is called as parturition. Parturition is actually a mechanism where a fully developed fetus, I'm using a lot of technical terms in this. Parturition is a process where a fully developed fetus is expelled outside the birth canal. I'm using a term called birth canal. I'm not using any a word which is actually we should not use. I'm using a word which has to be used scientifically. Parturition is a process where the fully developed fetus is expelled outside the birth canal. So insemination are used to female reproductive tract. The transfer of male gamete from the sperm mother cell is deposited into the female reproductive tract. Is called as insemination. Here I am using the same, it is actually saying the reproductive tract only, but here I am using a term called birth canal. So what is birth canal? For that I will teach you about the female reproductive structures. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as per your CBSE or NCERT. There are 6 important processes involved in human reproduction: gametogenesis, insemination, fertilization, implantation, gestation and parturition. Any doubt in this, children?
No, sir.
Okay, just wait, children. Okay, now we're going to just check on with the next topic, and the next important topic that we're going to focus is actually a very important topic, that is human male reproductive system. I'll even erase this, I don't want this areas. It's called as human male reproductive system. Human male reproductive system. Okay, you can ask me, sir, where is screenshot? I'm not going to give you a screenshot. Instead, you can just watch the class whenever you want, because I'll be recording and posting it. So more or less you'll be having the video lectures. Whenever you want, you can have a look. So simultaneously, if you make a note of it, it's very easy. Now, if you in lower class you could have learned in a lot of way, but in scientific way I'll tell you how to write in the board examination and how to represent. Now, here I'm going to classify human male reproductive system into 3 broad categories. The first one is called as primary sex organ. The first one is called as the primary sex organ. The second one is actually called as secondary sex organ, or people have a lot of other technical terms also we are using here, but commonly I use a term called here as secondary sex organ. Secondary sex organ. And the third one is nothing but the inseminating organ called as the external genitalia. Okay. What is the main role of primary sex organ? There are 2 important roles of primary sex organ. One is the primary sex organs are involved in the formation of gametes. Second is production of the principal male hormone. So for this we have extra abdominal organ called as testis. So the primary sex organ is nothing but testis. If you say about testis, people will call it as extra abdominal. Why we are calling as extra abdominal? It is present outside the body in a small pouch called scrotum. So we call as extra abdominal. In case of female, we go to call intra-abdominal. So what is the other thing we are going to take into consideration means we have to talk about the measurements of, and testis is very important. So what will be the size of the testis is the second important. So first topic we saw the location where they are located. The testis is extra abdominal, that is with a pouch called scrotum located outside the abdominal cavity. Why discovered by scrotum? About that I'll be teaching you with a separate diagram. The testis is generally oval in shape, and look about the measurement, it is about 4 to 5 centimeter in length. The length is about 4 to 5 centimeter in length. And we have a pair of testes. And the width is about 2 to 3 centimeter. The width is about, yeah, fine. So when you look here, so the width is about 2 to 3 centimeter is the width of the penis. And the next, when they take the next important topic here, so the thickness is about 3 centimeter. The thickness is about 3 centimeter is the thickness. And the testis is covered by an important layer which is there in outside. This layer is called as okay. I think I can erase this because I need a little bit of space. So I'll erase this so that I can draw the diagram over here. The testis is located in a small pouch here. This pouch is called as scrotum. This pouch is called as scrotum. So what is the role of scrotum? It will maintain temperature 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less than your body temperature, so that the sperm formation can take place in a smooth manner. Next are discovered by an outside with an important layer. This layer is called as tunica albuginea. So the outside layer of testis is called as tunica albuginea. Inside each testis we have lot of tubular part. About 200 to 250 compartments are there, but we're not going to show through diagram all the components here. So the components is called as testicular lobules. Testicular lobules. How many means 200 to 250 components are there? These are testicular lobules. Inside testicular lobules, we have the structural and functional unit of testis. The structural and functional unit of testis is called as seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules is the structural and functional unit of your testis. This is called as your seminiferous tubules, where the hormones as well as gamete mother cells are present. Followed by this, we have another important area, and we look about this important area. The area is very important where after the formation of the gametes in the seminiferous tubules, it is carried out by means of a tube called tubuli recti. So all the tubuli recti will join together and leads to another important structure here. This structure is called as rete testis. The rete testis will lead to another important area. A lot of tubes will be arising here. These tubes are called as vasa efferentia. These tubes are called as vasa efferentia. This tube is called as vasa efferentia, and this one is called as the epididymis, and this is the epididymis, and epididymis leads to an important tubes. This is called as vasa differentia. This is the anatomical view of a testis. Therefore, when you take about an human male reproductive system, we have the primary sex organ, we have the secondary sex organ, external genitalia, where in the primary sex organ, we have a testis, which is extra-abdominal, and in a pouch called scrotum, which will maintain temperature for spermatogenesis 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius, less than our body temperature. Then we have the tunica albuginea, the outer covering, and we have a lot of components called testicular lobules. Inside testicular lobules, we have several components of seminiferous tubules, and the sperms formed in the seminiferous tubule is transported to the tubuli recti. From tubuli recti, it goes to the rete testis. From rete testis, it goes to the vasa efferentia. From vasa efferentia, it goes to your epididymis and vasa differentia and comes out of your body. So the pathway is like this: testicular lobules, seminiferous tubules, tubuli recti, rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vasa differentia. These are 7 different routes by which the sperms are transported. Now I have to show you the individual diagram of seminiferous tubules. Any doubt in the anatomical view of testis? Any
No,
doubt
sir.
in anatomical view of testis? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Now, videos will be shared to you, okay? The class videos will be shared to you. So from there you can take the required notes. Now, I told you we have seminiferous tubules. So it was a tubular structure. So we have a seminiferous tubules now. This layer is called as your germinal epithelium, which is actually diploid. Now I'll just erase this area, then we can see about the areas afterwards. Now we have an important cell which will form the gametes for the sperm mother cell or gamete mother cell. So there are first group of cell which is the irregularly shaped nucleus. This one is called as spermatogonium. Spermatogonium. The spermatogonium is diploid. These are some of the stages of sperm formation. That time still it will be more clear for you. Then followed by that we have a cell which is seated above them. This one is called as primary spermatocyte, which is also diploid. The primary spermatocyte transforms into another important structure called as secondary spermatocyte. In this, we have an important cell. This cell is called as Sertoli cell. In the Sertoli cell, immature sperms will be bounded but with no motility. This one is called as spermatid. Then we can see here and there a cell which has a motility, the tail with some motility. This one is called as spermatozoa. The stages include spermatogonium, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, spermatid, embedded in a cell called Sertoli cell. The Sertoli cell will nourish the developing sperms, that is called as the spermatid, and spermatid transform to a spermatozoa. The Sertoli cells will give a nourishment, but the sperms will acquire normal shells. The morphological feature of the sperm is determined by the nourishment provided by the Sertoli cells, and which will transform into a spermatozoa when they attain the full motility. So if you look at this adjoining area, in this adjoining area again a next seminiferous tubule starts. Here we will be having an important cells called a Leydig cell, Leydic, Leydig or interstitial cells. We have a Leydig cell or we have a interstitial cells. This will produce hormone required for the secondary sexual character of a man, primary sexual character of a man, as well as sperm formation. All this hormone producing cells is called Leydig cells. Therefore the hormone producing cell, sperm producing cell, sperm nourishment cell, all of them are there in the seminiferous tubules. Therefore seminiferous tubules is actually a very important part in case of the testis. Therefore we can say that seminiferous tubules forms the fundamental as well as structural unit of testis. Any doubt in the microscopic or histological view of seminiferous. So when you take here, we have the primary sex organ. The primary sex organ includes your testis, where we are going to say about two important cells. One is hormone producing cells. The cell is called as Leydig or interstitial cells. We have another important one that is called as gamete producing cells. The gamete is called as the sperms or spermatozoa and is formed from the sperm mother cell called spermatogonium. And for the nourishment we have the sertoli cell. The secondary sex organ includes what mean? It includes glands and includes the ducts. About ducts already we have seen what are the various ducts which is involved. So the various ducts which I am talking to you all about is a different duct. What are the various important ducts which we are going to take into consideration? The ducts that we are going to take into considerations are the tubuli, recti, rete, testis, vasa, efferentia, epididymis, vasa differentia, ejaculate duct. Okay, about that I will be giving you a flow chart. What are the various glands are there? You know that in 100% of ejaculate, 90% are not sperm. Only 10% are only sperms. What is that 90%? The 90% constitute a volume called semen. What is semen? Semen is a white viscous fluid which is formed by a pair of seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles. And next we have another important one, and that is called as your, excuse me, yeah, bulbourethral, or it is called as Cowper's gland, and we have prostate gland, where these seminal vesicle and prostate gland are involved in the white fluid called as semen, which gives the fructose, which is further nourishing the sperms for their motility and other factors. And bulbourethral gland will lubricate the penis so that the acidity of urine, because you know male have a common point, that is the penis. Penis is a common point through which urine also comes out and the sperms also comes out. Since it is actually the inseminating organ, the urine is acidic. The acidity should not spoil the sperm and liquid transfer. So for lubrication, we require the bulbourethral or Cowper's gland, which will lubricate the penis so sperms can easily transfer. At the same time, they are also involved in one more important purpose is they will reduce the acidity of urine, so sperms will not be easily destroyed by the acidity of urine. So that's all about the structure of human male reproductive system. Any doubt in it?
No, sir.
Okay, next, we are going to jump into another important topic now, hormonal controls. What are the hormones that controls your male reproductive system? Now you came to know about the parts. Now this is very important for your NEET exam also, the part which I am going to mention now. So what are the various parts? The first thing we are going to talk about is the master of master gland, which is called as the master of master gland,
Hypothalamus.
hypothalamus. The first one is the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus will release a hormone called GnRH. What does GnRH stands for?
Gonadotropin releasing hormone.
Gonadotropin releasing hormone. This will go and activate the master gland called pituitary. Pituitary. Pituitary gland. The pituitary gland will release two types of hormones. One is LH, luteinizing hormone. What is the next hormone? Starts with F.
Follicular stimulating hormone.
Follicular stimulating hormone. So these are the secretions released by pituitary. the LH will go and activate, L for L, activate on an important cell called Leydig cells. The Leydig cell will release a hormone called androgen. On, in Tamil we say for male. So Leydig cell will release a hormone called androgen, the principal hormone called testosterone, and they are controlled. They control your two important processes. Number one, the sexual characters. Number two, very important, spermatogenesis. So they control your primary sexual characters, secondary sexual character, both of them, as well as spermatogenesis. Next we have another important hormone called follicle stimulating hormone. So what is the role of follicle stimulating hormone? The follicle stimulating hormone will go and act on an important hormone cell called Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells will release some factors called INB factors. I don't want to go in depth about the factors. These factors will control spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? During sperm formation, I'll teach you. So this is the hormonal control of spermatogenesis, or hormonal control involved in controlling the male reproductive system. Hypothalamus will give you the GnRH. GnRH will activate the pituitary, as well as the pituitary secretion called luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormones are also secreted. The same thing is there in female also, separately we will see. The luteinizing hormone will act on the interstitial or Leydig cells that will produce the androgen, the principal one, testosterone, which will control the primary and sexual characters, primary and secondary sexual characters, as well as which will control the spermatogenesis. The follicle stimulating hormone will they will give out an important secretion, and a secretion means they go and activate on your Sertoli cells located in the seminiferous tubules. So both of them are there in the seminiferous tubules. Both of them are there in the testis in seminiferous tubules. Both of them are there in your seminiferous tubules. So in the seminiferous tubules only, the Leydig cells and Sertoli cells are there. When Sertoli cells will release some factors, here they give some hormones. This will control the following character. They will control spermiogenesis. That means you must know the difference between two things. First is what is spermatid and what is spermatozoa. There are two important differences. The spermatozoa is called as sperms. So what is spermatid? You saw that there was an important cell called Sertoli cell. In the Sertoli cells only the sperms were embedded without any motility. This is called spermatid. Spermatozoa is a type of cells where the sperms they have attained the motility. That means spermatid is a type of sperm where the shape of the sperm is abnormal, or the shape of a sperm is not determined, the arrangement of sperm is not determined, motility is not there. That means they are immature sperms are called as spermatid. For converting the immature spermatid into spermatozoa, the Sertoli cell is very important. Any doubt, children?